Good evening, Tuesday, 9th of August. A sad day for me, unfortunately, attending a funeral for a close mate, waiting to build an audience, so not many people know this is on. So those of you that look at this in replay can understand how much Scott Morrison means to me. It's a strange connection we have because I went on the Great Walk to Beijing with this fireman, and he was pretty much, apart from Olivia Newton-John, he was pretty much the face, Scott Morrison, of the Great Walk to Beijing, which was raising money for cancer. He was one of the 6 cancer survivors. So I don't know whether you can see that, but Scotty always used to be at the front of the pack, and he had a 15-year battle with cancer, Hodgkin's non-lymphoma, which I honestly don't know enough about, other than it put him through a lot of pain and his family, and he fought on, unfortunately passed away about, it was on the Thursday of the previous week. I managed to see him with Gordon Chan the day before he died. Today's funeral, and there is a connection with why I'm here, was attended by a most extraordinary audience, and this man has touched not only everyone on the Great Walk to Beijing, which included about 60 celebrities in Australia. Scotty touched the fireman industry. He was an incredible man, well known to all of them. They were there in their uniforms today en masse. He had a fair stint in the army, about 3 years, and he liked his Bombers footy team, but more particularly liked his Layla football team. And hi to all the guys at Layla. Spent many hours out there today, caught up with some old foes I played football with in the 70s, Peter Marshall at Preston, and when I was playing for Paran. His son coaches Laylaw, and in fact Peter Marshall coached Scotty, and Scotty's nickname was Rat Morrison, and he had very pointy elbows, from what I led to believe. Now, when you played footy back in the 70s and 80s like I did, your elbow was your most important weapon, and if you're only about 63 kilograms, that didn't really help you anyway. So everybody got out of the way of Scott Morrison, and I'm just going to play a little tribute to Scott. This is part of the Great Walk to Beijing, and then I'll finish off with a little bit of a chat about Big Pharma and why I'm really here, and how I can help you to help yourselves if you're a natural practitioner. And if you're one of the foes that are trying to shut natural practitioners down, well, tune in, because we'll tell you some of our strategies, and you tell us some of yours. You're fairly public, and you've got your little secret ones, and so have we. So it's a level playing field we're seeking. That's all we want, level playing field for health in Australia, whether people are battling their own health or they're trying to prevent getting cancer like Scotty got. So it's a tragic condition, as you all know, and we need to really be pulling together, not trying to destroy our health system and eliminate many, many lovely practitioners that practice natural therapies. And think about why Olivia Newton-John did this walk, and why she was so insistent on having a wellness centre, please, because she understood the need to combine the two, and why doctors don't respect the fact that natural therapies can help is very disappointing. The Austin Hospital, in their wisdom, embraced Olivia's dream. And please watch this tribute to Scott, and then we'll finish off with a short expose, because I'm pretty exhausted and pretty emotional, and I'd just like to go to bed tonight, to be honest. It's been a long couple of weeks. Here's to Scotty, one of the 3 jerkers, and my other mate Gordon Chan, who spoke today. Thank you. I'll just see if I can get this to work, and bear with me. I'm an amateur TV producer here. What we need to do is flip the there, and then we click the button there. To bring our spirits, they may try to get the best of the bomber boys are flying high. They'll pass any test.
I have to ask you why you've always got to be at the front of the pack.
Danny Minogue.
Why?
Yeah.
The reason I'm at the front of the pack is just before we start walking, I have a quiet moment to myself, and I think of all the millions of people that have lost loved ones to cancer.
Yeah.
And with that, I summons all their, spiritually, I summons them to me to give me the energy to walk the walk. I was diagnosed back in August 2001. The first type I had was a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, but it was an aggressive type. And the second type was non-Hodgkin's, but it was only isolated under my neck there.
Yeah.
But the third time I had chemo, I had to have a stem cell transplant because I was given a fatal dose of chemo, and I had 50-50 chance to survive.
So that's when you're so ill, they have to give you more chemo in the hope of killing the cancer off, otherwise the cancer's going to get you.
Yes, that's right. When I spent time at the Heidelberg House, that's the cancer ward at the Austin. Still, I mean, you didn't have your own shower or toilet, you still had to go down and use the wards.
So that's quite dangerous.
Oh,
if
it is,
you're meant
yeah.
to be in isolation.
Yes, and plus, my wife had come every day to the hospital at night time. I used to get a bit angry with her because she'd park, there was no parking facilities. She'd have to park out from the hospital, and I was getting worried because she'd leave at night time and it was dark.
And how much you miss your family?
Actually, I'm quite sad because I love my wife Robin and my two sons, Scotty and Daniel, and I miss them. I do miss them. I'm real sad that I'm not with them.
They're so
I love them.
behind you.
Thank you.
So
Sorry.
behind you.
No, I love my family. That's when I was ill, my wife spent that much. She was there with me at the hospital all the time. And my sons are only 12 and 14 when I was first diagnosed. They weren't too sure what was happening, and that was the main reason I had to survive this, because I had to protect them and guide them in life because they're only young, and that was really the main reason
But they
for me
kept
to
you
survive.
going through the whole bit.
Yeah, of course.
They'll keep you going again.
No, that's fine.
First trip away from Australia?
Yes, yes, it is my first trip overseas.
You're jumping in the deep end,
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah,
Off to China, across the Gobi Desert.
Well, it's all for a good reason. That's what I mean. We need as much people as we can to sponsor this.
www.Great Walk to Beijing. Please sponsor me, sponsor Scott, and you've got to get back up the front, my mate.
Well,
You ready?
Give me 5 minutes, I'll be back up there. I'll be marching up there because I'm an old army boy and I'm used to marching, so I'll keep marching.
That's pretty hard for me to watch that, but Scotty was one of those people, and he spent 15 years battling it. Unbelievably, guess what day he started his chemo? I only found this out today. He started at the Austin Hospital on the September the 11th, 2001, the very day the Twin Towers happened. So, bit of an uncanny resemblance there, and I say the 9/11 Twin Towers was a total 100% corruption, and eventually the testimonies will all prove what many people in the world already know. So poor old Scotty was having chemo, and how many firemen were affected in that tragic 9/11 disaster. And the thing that came through in the funeral today, and this is the message I've got for natural therapy people in the war you're facing, with the highest players in the US pharmaceutical industry driving it, including Dr. Offit that we talked about last night. There was a poignant moment in the many speeches that were given today, and it came across that Scotty, whether it was a football field or whether it was in the army or whether it was a fireman or whether it was on the walk, and whatever pain he was on doing 250k with a really stuffed ankle, I can tell you, he had to be at the front. The key thing driving him, he had a fear of nothing. A fear of nothing. And you think what it'd be like to walk into a fire. I don't think I could do it. I mean, he's doing it as a living, because he wanted to save people's lives. So, we've got a dichotomy in our medical industry at the moment. We have got a huge majority that want to heal people. That includes all the many, many wonderful doctors, all the natural therapists, I do feel, want to heal people. And then we've got a rump that actually want to make as much money as they can. And unfortunately, the good guys have got massive fear. You are fearing that if you come out, you will be attacked, and you will be. You've got very good reason. But, you know, Scotty Morrison's the key. He has a fear of nothing. I mean, if that's your job, if that's your calling, and you're going to sit behind waiting for your professions to be destroyed by this small rump of people, predominantly driving the main pharmaceutical companies in the US, why are you in the profession? Okay? You've just got to overcome the fear. It's your fear. It's no one else's fear. And we do have many people that are standing up one by one and defending themselves. Every one of you got to look into whether you've got a Scott Morrison deep in your heart, where you can rise above it. Now, I've met many of you that already have and have put yourselves on the line and focused attention on your own businesses and have been attacked by the Friends of Science in Medicine, right? They're military. But if you can pull together, and together you have a fear of nothing, and that includes a fear of an attack by the Friends of Science in Medicine, or the ARPA if you're a registered practitioner, or the media, or you're worried someone will put something bad on your little Facebook page, you know, get over it, really. Think of what it's like to battle 15 years like Scotty had, and had multiple rounds of incredible treatment at the Austin Hospital, kept him going. You know what really drove him? His father never got to see Scotty's beautiful kids, right, who've now grown up into two special men. These two special men are going to make a big impact on the world like Scotty has. And I spent some time with them today. And that wore heavily on Scotty's mind, that his father died at a relatively young age and never got to see his grandchildren. So Scotty fought for 15 years to the point where he was alive still. He was alive still and able to share being a grandfather. And family meant everything to him. And his mates at the footy club, you know, meant everything to him. And that's where we all returned. The Layla Football Club, where it all begins. You know, I coached my youngest son's footy team under 9. You know, they're in whatever they're in, grade 9. They're pretty young. Under 9 it was actually, or under 10 I think. Did about 3 years. I mean, football clubs, sporting clubs, netball, soccer, whatever. I mean, they're the essence of the community, and parents volunteer. They get behind the bar. They get behind, you know, doing the sausages and the sizzles and the you know, the teas and the coffees, and everyone chips in. And the Marshall family done a fantastic job at Layla keeping that club alive. But it's not easy because we're getting less and less volunteers. There's more and more distractions, and the kids are all getting hooked on these gadgets like Facebook Live, Pokemon, and iPads, and all this. And we've got a serious problem. It was highlighted in the Sunday paper that the majority of children can't stay awake in the afternoon because they can't get to bed at night because they're addicted to all these gadgets. And all the sporting clubs are finding it hard to have junior clubs. We need to be redirecting a lot of this money away from the big farmers and giving it back to the grassroots, so kids are doing a lot more than just playing on gadgets. We've got a serious problem because guess what the front page of the paper said on Sundays? Herald Sun it was, and I'll publish it at some point and do a post. It said the doctors are responding by giving them drugs that look like melatonin. So they're not even giving them the natural hormone for your sleep cycle, and they're giving them lots of other drugs like Ritalin and others. So we're getting all cocked up. It's one giant cock up, and we need you to do what Scotty's done. You have to have a fear of nothing now, and come out together and say enough's enough. Unite all your professions. There's 21 at least as part of ARPA and part of the stitch up by the National Health and Medical Research Council. There are 18 professions in that if you count myotherapy and massage. There's 2, so there's 18 natural therapies plus the chiropractic industry plus the osteopaths, and also now the Chinese medicine are getting heavily attacked. So there's Scotty leading the pack. Olivia Newton-John recovering from breast cancer, We had Danny Minogue there, whose best friend died of breast cancer. We know that her sister had breast cancer. We go on and on and on. Every night on that great walk to Beijing was the hardest part of the walk. I mean, we had some incredible climbs physically during the days, but at night, everyone was sharing their emotional battles with people close to them. And, you know, I had a battle dealing with my ex-wife's battle with cancer, and my sister losing her husband, and my father having bowel cancer, but luckily recovering with some brilliant radiation. So, you know, we've all got stories, and they're all told at night, and most of the time we're in tears. It was just night after night of this battle to stay healthy, you know. So if you want to be in natural health and you want to sit, you know, behind a computer and hope someone's going to knock on your door and get a treatment, and some government's not going to stop you doing it, or some lobby group, it's not going to work. I mean, the game's now ready to win. And you've got people like Scotty standing up. You've got Olivia Newton-John. You've got a whole line of celebrities that are behind natural health. You've got the entire Olympic movement. There's 30,000 Olympians on their website. How many Olympians are on massive drug cocktails, you know, right now? You know, and we can all laugh and say, well, maybe some of them are. But, I mean, you know, that's just ridiculous. They have to live incredibly naturally healthy lives to get to the peak. And they're icons. And here we are destroying natural health remedies to the rest of the population. I mean, what are they all getting so we can watch them on the tally, which I haven't watched the tally yet. I'm still engrossed in this battle. You know, they're natural health passionate advocates, our icons. So where are they? I mean, do you know any of them? I mean, do you treat any of them? I mean, we need to bandy them together. You know, I'll be doing my best when Olivia comes next month to Australia, because technically, the Health Ombudsman Act in Queensland prevents her Gaia Health Retreat from operating. That's my legal view. Why? Every therapist there cannot show scientific clinical evidence to back up the claims they're making, because the National Health and Medical Research Council said there's not enough evidence. So if the Health Ombudsman wanted to take them on, then someone's just put up something. Census website crashes under load tonight. Well, that's interesting. I hope you're all filling your census out. So I'm going to hopefully impress on Olivia and a lot of these Olympians when they come back, because many of them have been involved in my horse racing syndicates in the past, and many of them I walk with on the Great Walk, that we need their help. So we're going to make it easy for you, because we're going to get the icons of Australia to come out and help you, okay? Because they've lived a naturally healthy life. I mean, people like Leighton Hewitt, Yana Pittman, Andrew Hoy, Susie O'Neill, all these people, you know, been in my horses. They all are passionate Australians. You know, they can make a difference, and that might make you, I'm talking to you, remember what Scotty said, fear of nothing. You have to be a fireman. If you want to help someone now, you have to be a fireman, okay? And we're going to fire up. And we've got all the strategies under the sun. We've got a massive array of strategies that's confusing at first instance. But you look at what the opposition are doing to you, they've got a lot as well. They're running a massive spider web of tactics, strategies, influences, planting people in every organisation, influencing politics, influencing media, influencing every arm of government. They're all over the place. So that's confusing too, because most of you don't even know they're doing it. So we can do that too. And what's the end game? A level playing field. We don't want to win. We don't want to lose. We just want a level playing field. We don't want parallel bars. You know, we don't want the drug industry here and natural health here. We want horizontal bars, okay? What's unfair about that? That's what we're seeking, and eventually money will be the telling factor. We will win the battle for a level playing field because of money. Why? Because the taxpayers are paying the drug companies and the health industry $150 billion a year, roughly. They're not paying very much of that into natural health. So there's $150 billion could be taken off the table if this battle keeps going the way it is, and we're getting sicker and sicker and having more and more children struggling. So a lot more money can be lost. And the problem with our big pharma is the way they're structured, they actually call us consumers. I'll put this up in the event. So what hope have we got when the pharmaceutical industry treat us as consumers of their product? I mean, they don't talk about trying to heal us. They don't even talk about it as a patient. They just want us to consume product. How do they pay their staff? They pay their staff big salaries, but also executive options. You don't understand about executive options, and I've had 20 years in venture capital. I know everything about them. It's a key way people are playing the way of running companies, because they get an incentive if the company succeeds on the stock market. So if the share price goes up, their options are worth more money. Why does the share price go up? Mainly because of extra profit or extra potential for profit. In other words, growth in profit. That's mainly the way share prices work. There's a lot of other issues as well. So if you've got a whole system that's driving this agenda against natural health, then you've got to understand how their game works. And they don't have your health as a key performance indicator. They have the share price driven by profits. And the profit margin is driven by getting you to have as many drug combinations as possible, whether you're a child or whether you're a pregnant mother or whether you're an adult or whether you're in the nursing home like my mother that went from 0 to 8 drugs in 6 months and ended up in a wheelchair. So they're into drug combinations of massive proportion, none of which have got any evidence base. There is no evidence to suggest that 2 drugs work in combination, let alone 8. Okay, it's never done. They don't do the trials, and they know it. So all they talk about ad nauseum is you guys, the natural health professionals, have got no evidence. Well, you know, it's the emperor with no clothes. We've just got to show they haven't got any clothes. And that's why I'm pushing for you to read anything at all on the website of Cochrane.org, and you familiarise yourself with the evidence behind mainstream medicine as determined by that independent expert, peak standard, well recognised Cochrane.org. Just read anything. Read any page and SMS me, or do anything to tell me you've read one, and then we'll go from there, because that's the weapon. You want a level playing field, you've got to hit them right where it hurts. If you destroy their evidence base, then they struggle then to get governments to write checks out. Okay? So please read your Cochranes, and tomorrow night we'll have one more session this week, and we'll pick a good topic which will hopefully be the revelation by the Victorian Health Minister is going to tell us who plotted against the natural health professions last year in the secret submissions that were lodged, never to be revealed the names, never to be revealed the content. And 1 February next year, 2007, all the Victorian prackies have got a serious piece of legislation. So I'm wanting them to disclose this tomorrow. So let's hope I can tell you who some extra foes are, in addition to the Friends of Science in Medicine. And don't forget, from last night, the Friends of Science in Medicine are driven by, yes, the Institute of Science in Medicine. And you should have done your homework yesterday if you go back to yesterday's event. And I've put all my live Facebooks up on the website, brain's not working after Scotty's funeral, www.fightpharmacorruption.com. You'll go to that site, you'll see all my live Facebooks there. Last night's one had an absolute time bomb. I called it a nuclear bomb. I don't know why you'd bother treating another patient without listening to the testimony of 6 people, including Dr. Offit. In fact, that's probably what I should do tomorrow night. I didn't get a chance today at the funeral, but I'll dissect Dr. Offit for you tomorrow night. He's the main player. He wrote co-wrote the textbook on vaccines, and he also is the patent holder for the rotavirus. Okay, so today's homework is read one Cochrane.org, anything you like. Just find any person you know that's on a drug, key it into the search engine on the review part of Cochrane.org, and just look at the author's conclusion, and then email me what the conclusion is for that particular Cochrane. That's all you got to do for tonight. And if you haven't done last night's homework, just put it on the car, the 2-hour testimony. It's an audio. I put the link up. I'll put it up again now, and we'll see you tomorrow night. So all the best to Robin and the boys, and hopefully we'll be combining our energies. And boy, that's a special family, and you mean a lot to me. And you know, it's a very special day I'll never forget today. And I did get to go also to the Olivia Newton-John Wellness Centre, which I'd never been before. And that was quite a thrill too. So love you all, and we'll see you again tomorrow night at 9:11 p.m. Okay, 9:11 p.m. tomorrow night. Bye now.